Brady takes the shotgun snap, looks, pulls the trigger, touchdown to Randy Moss.
We are 2 days away from kicking off the NFL season. Couldn't be happier. Really pumped up. Tony Cutillo, Spiking the Pigskin podcast, episode 4. And we're going to talk about a couple plays, some bets. Yes, we're going to add some bets into this. Okay, I'm going to give you an idea of what's coming next. But what you need to do right now is make sure, because we only have 2 days for football, and we also only have 2 days left of 50% off using the code HEAT, H-E-A-T. We've already had numerous people sign up, for which I say thank you, and I guarantee you I will not disappoint you with number 1, help, and number 2, content. Simple as that. So make sure you get locked in with the code word HEAT, H-E-A-T. Go to WinDailySports.com. Go sign up. I highly recommend the quarterly option, which is $75. That's $25 a month for 3 months. You'll get for the entire football season, and then you can figure out what you want to do after that, which you'll probably want to stick around, because we're going to win and we're going to have fun. And speaking of winning, let's get right into the week 1 laws of the land, I will call them. The way I do my lineups, the way I do my research. And I'm going to just give you 4 rules of thumb that a couple of them you probably know, and a couple of them are just my own theory. Number 1, play your studs. Do not do matchups. Just play your studs. You drafted these guys for a reason. Make sure you play your studs. It's week 1. A lot of time to make adjustments. This is the week you play your studs. And there's no matchup rule in week 1. That's rule number 2. There's no matchup rule in week 1, meaning stop looking at last year's statistics. Stop looking at 3-year statistics. These are different teams, different concepts, different players. They're a year hungrier. Okay, there's so many different things that go on, so you cannot look at that. You have to make your own evaluation after the first 3 weeks, okay, for the matchup. So there's no matchup rule, in my opinion, in week 1. Rule 3 is going to be for running backs. Keep an eye on usage more than production. I'm going to say it again. Usage over production. I don't care if your running back scores 2 touchdowns, but if you only got the ball 2 times, guess what? That doesn't help me. I want usage. I don't care if he didn't score a touchdown, but if he gets the ball 25 times, I know I have a stud. So always usage over production. And for wide receivers, in rule number 4, keep an eye on targets and routes over touchdowns and catches. That's a big one. You want to see what routes are being run by your receivers, what targets they can get over the red zone opportunity, touchdowns, and catches, because you want them on the field as much as possible to give you that week-to-week consistency. And talking about week-to-week consistency, let's get right into the Thursday night game with a couple bets, okay? Because I'm looking so forward to this Baltimore Orioles and Kansas City Chiefs game, because 2 highly touted running backs on my board were Isaiah Pacheco and Derrick Henry all offseason. I continue to ride them. I have them on all of my teams, at least one of them, which I'm extremely happy about. And to see Isaiah Pacheco at anytime touchdown right now at plus money, at plus 105, I am telling you, you got to grab it. This guy has no competition. 0. Don't give me this Samaje Perine stuff. Don't give me any of that. It doesn't matter. If they really thought he couldn't handle the rock, remember, I am an Andy Reid disciple. I am from Philadelphia, okay? So I know what Andy Reid does when he really, really feels comfortable with a running back. And it took him a little bit to get comfortable, but as you saw, he did. He phased everybody out, Jerick McKinnon included, which he really liked as a veteran presence, and they gave the rock consistently to Pacheco all the way to the Super Bowl, and that's going to continue. So anytime touchdown at plus 105 is my play. And on the other side with Derrick Henry, think about everything that's happened in Baltimore in the offseason. The word that we keep hearing is we want Lamar to run less. We want to keep Lamar healthy. Guess what? That's what they're going to do. So much that Second tight end Isaiah Likely has been a fantasy target because he's on the field so much because of the blocking schemes, because they want to run the ball. And by the way, when you play against a Kansas City potent offense that's going to be top 5 in all of football, possibly maybe the number 1, who knows, you want to keep them off the field. How do you keep them off the field? You control the clock. You control the touches, which means you want to give Derrick Henry the ball. So this is not going to be a number of touchdown or yards or rushes. It's going to be rushing attempts, okay? So Derrick Henry over 16.5 rushing attempts. Again, another plus money play at plus 105. Absolutely love it because he is going to get the ball 18 to 20 times easily in this game. And number 1 is going to be productive, but he's going to win out some money with that bet of plus 105. Now, one more because we want to get to the Friday night game in Brazil. And yes, I know I'm a homer. I understand, which is okay. Okay, it's okay if you get the right homer pick. And I love me some Jalen Hurts rushing props. And I know that everybody, including myself, has said he is not going to run like he did last year. I said, actually, he's not going to get the rushing touchdowns that he did last year. He's not going to get those. I don't even think he's going to be in double digits. Doesn't mean he's not going to run the ball, because what's going to happen is when you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley. That's 5 offensive guys that you have to account for. No linebackers are going to be in the middle of that field. I'm telling you that right now. They're not. And Jalen Hurts has looked very elusive. He looks like he has an extra step in him this year. He looks like a completely reborn quarterback, which means he's feeling a lot better. He's healthier, and he's better with his legs. That's why I like him to rush a bunch in this game. And this number to get plus money, 40 plus rushing yards at plus 110. This is a number you got to go in on. You might even want to ladder it up to 50 or 60, but I just think he's going to break off 3 to 4 times and get those chunks that we expect, because there's going to be nobody in the middle of the field. And I know that's where those 40-plus rushing yards are going to come from. Again, plus 110 is where you want to lay the money. Now, those numbers are specifically from DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, you can shop around for your numbers. If you want to use the numbers at DraftKings Sportsbook, it's very easy. Go on our partners page. If you're not a new user, it's simple. You just go right to our partners page, click on DK, and for $5 minimum deposit, you get $150 in free bet money. Very simple. And it's right there on the site. Now, if you are a DK user and you want to shop your numbers, it's another reason why you want to be a member of WinDailySports.com, because you're going to be able to go to our prop model and be able to see all the numbers listed for that play, whether it's Bet365, whether it's Caesars, whether it's BetMGM. They're all going to be on there. You can pick the best number with the best book. So that's what I highly recommend. And that's why we're running the 50% off until kickoff for the code word HEAT, HEAT, to get your 50% off, because it's only going to last for a couple days. Make sure you get involved. Now let's get to some fantasy plays, right? And these are going to be whether you're playing season long or DFS. Again, anybody can pick the studs, okay? We all know those top 20 players are going to be. It's the other guys, especially in the DFS market, right? That brings me to an old friend in Geno Smith. Seattle is a team that little by little I've fallen in love with more and more as the preseason continued to evolve. And I mean preseason fantasy football, not preseason football, because I just kept looking at this team and look at the cohesion they give with all the players coming back, in DK and Tyler Lockett, a possible breakout year for JSN, and then Kenneth Walker, who is one of the most underrated running backs, in my opinion, in all of fantasy football. So I really like this team. That's why I like Geno this week. Again, going up against Denver, not going by any past history, just knowing they did nothing to improve the defense whatsoever. But it's not more about defense. It's more about Geno and knowing what he's going to be able to do in this game. 4 out of his last 5, he was double-digit, 20-plus points in fantasy, and I expect that number to go up one more this week. He's only 5,500 also in the DFS market. So if you're playing DFS, he gives you an ultimate opportunity at 5,500 for a quarterback. That's about $3,500 less than the top guy. That gives you a lot more money to play with your cap for the rest of your lineup. So again, I love Geno Smith this week. If you want to place a sports wager and you don't have time to do it and you don't have time to study, that's why we're here. Or maybe you're already a pretty good sports bettor, but you want a little more information, that's why we're here. Either way, we have you covered here at windailysports.com, where we have projection models, we have expert chats, we have prop betting models. We also have deals through all our partners to make sure you get the best bang for your buck. Just think of this scenario. You're working all day long. Now baseball games start early. Sometimes they start at 6 o'clock on Easter time. Maybe you don't get home till 5. You want to spend time with the family. You want to have dinner. But you also want to get some bets in, and you haven't had time to do it all day. No time for research. No time for studying. Well, guess what? That's where we come in. You just hop up to windailysports.com. You go to your account. You go to the prop page, what team you want to bet on, what players. You look at our edge meter. You find out the best lines all on one page. Boom, within 10 minutes, your bet is placed, your wager is done, and now you can eat, you can get relaxed, and you can watch and win. It's that simple. And right now, because you're listening to this podcast, this segment, we'll get you 50% off. Use the code HEAT, H-E-A-T. If you are a new user, that's all you need to do is go to windailysports.com, go to the checkout page, and type in H-E-A-T and get 50% off. You can get a week for $7.50. You can get a month for $24.99. Or you can get 3 months for an easy $75. I'm telling you right now, if you do the 3 months for $75, you will make that money back and pay for the next 3 months by the time the end of the first month is done. Again, HEAT, H-E-A-T is the code, windailysports.com, and start winning with us today. Another guy I love is a bell cow running back that a lot of people are passing up. I talked to a guy that had this guy as his top running back after he drafted, just with some of the maneuvers that had happened. He was highly upset. And I said, what are you upset about? This guy's a bell cow. This guy is going to get the rock. His name is Ramondre Stevenson out there in New England. And here's the thing. Jacoby Brissett actually helps this even more because this guy is not going to throw the ball a lot at all. We've already watched it. Jonathan Taylor had some of his best years, okay, with Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett in Cleveland, some of those guys had their best years because he doesn't throw the ball a ton. So he's always handing the ball off, and he's a physical-minded quarterback, which means he's not afraid to get a couple yards, and the other team knows that. So Ramondre Stevenson at $5,900, in my opinion, on DFS. Ramondre, if he's your RB1, you're good to go. I love Ramondre Stevenson because he's going to get the rock a ton, and he's going to do a lot with it. So I am all Ramondre'd up. And I'm also all in on a guy who's changed sceneries again, which is Calvin Ridley. Now, in the DFS market, he's 5,800. Very, very good number for a very good wide receiver who's going to get tons of targets, okay, with a quarterback who could absolutely sling it in Will Levis. And also, don't discount this, man. This is going to be a more pass-oriented offense without Derrick Henry. Two guys, Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, are pass-catching backs. It's going to be more of a dynamic offense that I'm really starting to look at and really starting to love out there in Tennessee without Derrick Henry. So Calvin Ridley, 5,800 as one of your top wide receivers in fantasy this week. I absolutely love him. And last but not least, go back to some Philly bias. He's not a Philadelphia Eagle anymore, but he was. And that's my man, Zach Ertz. And I'll tell you exactly what my notes say. Rookie quarterback is gold, which means for any tight end, if you have a rookie quarterback, it's Jaden Daniels, okay, he's going to be out there. And looking at a team that's number one guy is Terry McLaurin. They let Jahan Dotson go. They have a bunch of younger guys looking to step up. They're going to have a good run game with B-Rob, Austin Eckler. But Zach Ertz is a guy who just consumes targets. He's not going to get you a ton of yards. He's going to get you a lot of targets. And I'm looking at a couple of red zone opportunities as well. So at $3,600 in DFS or as your tight end one in one of your fantasy football lineups, if you wait it later to get a tight end like I did, I love this play. I love Zach Ertz. So that's a guy that I really, because he's done it forever. He continues to do it, and he continues to put all the pessimists to rest. So Zach Ertz, for me, as a tight end one this week, can't wait to see it produce. And speaking of producing, I have about 5 to 6 more bets that I'm actually going to put in an article, which is going to be on windailysports.com. More props, because when I'm doing these fantasy segments, the props come to me. And there's a lot of really good props, a lot of juicy props that you want to get in on, that you're going to have an opportunity to really make some money. And I'm going to do a couple touchdown parlays, which I love to do, which will be 3 guys that are going to score an anytime touchdown, because I think there's, besides those number one targets that everybody's going to look at, there's some guys in that plus 200 to plus 300 range that are really susceptible to falling in the end zone in week 1. And we're going to parlay some of them up. So if you want to get involved and you want to get that article, make sure you get over to windailysports.com, last but not least, and use that code HEAT, HEAT. You can get a week for $7.50. You can get a month for $25. And I highly recommend you just go all in on the 3 months, because it's only $75. That's $25 per month for 3 months, because once it goes back up, you're looking at $60 to $70 a month. So you're going to get 3 months basically for the price of 1. So get locked in. Again, Spiking the Pigskin. Look out for that article that will come out either Thursday or Friday to get you more props. The content will be here. We'll do some stars and stiffs on Friday as well. And Saturday morning, we'll release another pod with some updates and some plays. So make sure you keep it locked right here. windailysports.com. Tony Cutillo. Catch you back on the next episode.